recovery story. In this story, I'm going to read from the piece of work that I created for a peer mental health support course. I think I've mentioned this maybe in another video that I wanted to volunteer for a local mental health charity as a peer supporter, and this, what I'm about to read now, is work that was completed for the course in order to pass it. Yeah, so this is my recovery story. So, early signs of difficulty. I had trouble with sort of racial subjects at school. Like, I think I internalised those subjects too much. That it made me feel bad. There was sort of a perceived lack of opportunity, self-worth, confidence issues. There was anger issues, a little bit of home life issues. Yeah, and so I had this. I felt sort of powerless. So how did I take that power back? I think the way in which I started to take back power of my emotions and self were, talking to friends, family, taking responsibility for finances and investing, learning and rewarding myself, volunteering, exercising and eating well, and creating a mental health toolkit folder, using a mental health practitioner. As I said, that practitioner was actually with the mental health charity that I wanted to volunteer with. I think the biggest thing in how I accomplished movement from the seemingly sort of endless dark times of my sort of teenage, early adult years to the light times was understanding that I had to, I think, sort of psychologically and intrinsically want to move and make a change. As such, although my recovery is, ongoing, I view it as, a phoenix, rising from the ashes, or as a shattering of a room full of mirrors. The mirrors are the reflections of everybody's expectations for you or of you that are not your own. And I felt those reflections, those mirrors, those expectations that were placed upon me from others, had to be shattered into 1,000 pieces and replaced with, what you want to do. Obstacles that I overcame in my recovery, or my ongoing recovery, sort of fear of judgment, anxiety, shame, self-punishment in the various ways that I did that, self-destructive behaviour similar to self-punishment, perceived inequality, a lack of confidence, self-worth, expectations of self, that's others, lessons learned about myself and recovery. I wrote for this piece, sustained recovery is to be worked for. Recovery is a long process. Recovery can be achieved using different strategies. I learned that I am courageous, resilient, and worthy. Always make changes for oneself, not for others. Personal wants and desires matter more than other people's expectations of you. Strengths developed and used through recovery. Positive thinking, positive journaling, optimism, rewarding oneself, accepting oneself, researching solutions, analysing problems, striving to improve, engaging with support services, resisting self-destructive behaviours, increased self-awareness, empathy for mental health issues, utilisation of unconditional positive regard, genuineness, increased self-worth, increased confidence, and a resilience against life's stresses. Support developed and used through recovery. Family and friends through talking, websites and forums about mental health, using mental health charities. As I said, I wanted to be a peer supporter, so this is what this piece of work was all about, my recovery story. Engaging with a doctor, so a GP, since I'm in the UK. And then lastly, activities that helped with my recovery and wellness, to get through those dark, stormy seas of sort of my teenage years and early adulthood. exercise, eating well, learning, volunteering, taking control of finances, goal setting, and as I said previously, sort of positive thinking, positive journaling, but also relaxing, having fun, rewarding oneself for one's small successes, and lastly, not taking things too seriously. Do you have a recovery story? If so, maybe you'd like to, I don't know, let me know in the comments, bits and pieces of it, I don't know. But it'd be nice to know if if you recovered from anything. Yeah. And with that being said, that was my recovery story, how I dealt with it, and the things that worked for me, what worked for you if you've recovered from any sort of darkness. And with that being said, thank you for listening.